Guillermo. Emil, Amok to you, looking straight at you. Welcome to our Takeout, Emil Amok's Takeout. My takes on all things considerable. Welcome to our show. We're here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Live, because by then all the bad stuff has happened. Actually, the good stuff is about to happen because Joe Biden's going to give a speech tonight about the soul of America. What is the soul of America in Philadelphia, of all places? I don't think he's going to do like the Republicans, hire the OJs to play at the Republican National Convention. I think that was 2000, right? That was the George Bush convention. But he actually did that. He had the OJs singing Love Train for the Republicans. I think it was a kind of like a foreign thing. They didn't know, what do we do now? Do we dance? I mean, it was crazy. That was I think it was one of the last Republican conventions I attended as a reporter. But Joe Biden will go to Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell, all the right backdrops, patriotism, America, tonight talking about the soul of America. I'll get into what the soul of America really is all about. I mean, when you look at the news of the day and you see we really are due for a soul check of America. So we'll see what Biden says in prime time tonight. So much has happened, though, already today on a Thursday. We have the special master thing. The Florida judge says she's gonna. There's a special master now. She's saying, "Can't talk to you now, special master. You're gonna have to go away." But the special master thing it's complex. The judge down there in Florida says she doesn't want to go, stick her neck out too far because, look, already the Justice Department has established so much about this case. Does she buy the idea that anything that the DOJ and the judge who's already involved in this has been unfair? So I think this is just more of Trump trying to throw more chaos into the proceedings. And I think the judge wants to show that she is respectful of all parties, especially the person who made sure she was a judge. But I think she also wants to rule. She wants to be on the good side of the law. So she's going to take her time to come up with a written opinion. And I think the more we are able to dwell on what's already been out there, or what's already out there by what the Justice Department released yesterday, I don't think we need a special master. I think we have enough to say that Donald Trump violated, or is at least there is probable cause, right? A judge has already ruled there's probable cause that the Espionage Act has been somehow violated. There's a reason to believe obstruction. All these other aspects of the law. Probable cause. The former president, he's not president now. I guess the biggest thing today was whether any kind of executive privilege should be a part of whether or not, as an excuse for Donald Trump. I don't think so. So we're going to wait. Everyone is sort of like looking at that story like that's the story to look at, but it's going to be delayed. I think it's already, if it hasn't sunk in, it's already pretty damning that the president is reckless. The president had these documents. So we just have more time to stew and kind of not necessarily debate amongst ourselves, but this idea of a special master, just another part of this process that Donald Trump knows he's running out of excuses. And so we're going to have to see where this goes. In the meantime, he's made some news by saying that he's going to issue, this is Donald Trump, he's going to issue full pardons and a government apology to rioters who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 2021. And he told a conservative talk show host, I mean, full pardons with an apology to many. And this would be contingent on Trump running and winning the 2024 presidential election. But I think it's fair to say that these are people who've gone before the criminal justice system. One man got 7 years in jail, another 5. Many got, more than 30 days. The Filipino American, Kenny Lazo, got 55 days, and all of them were contrite, sorry. They said, we were under the cult of Trump. And so here's Trump, I guess, trying to buy sympathy, saying, look, I'm not president, but I'm going to issue full pardons. And a government apology to the rioters, to the insurrectionists. It's just crazy, right? I mean, they're insurrectionists. And here's the guy who wants to be president saying, hey, they were right to do their thing. No, they weren't right to do their thing. And just by coming out with that statement today, Donald Trump proves once again he doesn't deserve a second chance, a second bite at the apple. He's already destroyed the apple, which is why it's necessary for Joe Biden to come out today and talk about the soul of America. I mean, if you saw the campaign in 2020, he was saying we can't have another 4 years of Donald Trump. And even with a Joe Biden respite, we can't subject America to another 4 years of Donald Trump with a Biden sandwich. We just can't afford it. It's enough for Joe Biden to do what he's done to get America back up. But soul of America, I want to hear what he has to say, Joe Biden, because the soul of America is a diverse America. The soul of America is America that works together, not America that is divided, that tears itself apart. That's Donald Trump. And Donald Trump proved it today when he gives this interview to a conservative taco saying he's going to pardon all the insurrectionists. That is just absolutely nuts. Pardoning the insurrectionists. The Republican Party is the law and order party. If you're a Republican out there, look, Republicans can listen to this program. I try not to be terribly bipartisan or terribly partisan. I try to be bipartisan when I can. This is a bipartisan moment. We're on the same team, right? Diversity doesn't mean, Democrat, Republican. Diversity means we're all American. And I think this is just the right time for Joe Biden to be given a speech. I'm looking forward to the soul of America's speech. The soul of America is not Donald Trump. And I think we need to see more Republicans. They're not rhinos. They're just honest, patriotic, law-abiding Republicans who think that, yeah, there was something going on January 6th. The insurrection was bad. Joe Biden is right. You can't be pro-law and order and pro-insurrectionist. So tonight, we'll have Joe Biden redefine what the soul of America is in 2022. And I think what you'll find is that it really begins to be a redefinition of what a new America, a diverse America, an America that is evolving, an America that is an America for brown people and black people and Asian people, an America that is becoming what in 1989 we knew America was going to be a minority majority nation. How do we get along? How do we beat the divide? How do we come together? That's what I'm hoping to hear from Joe Biden tonight. And I think we need to hear someone who's a grown up in the room, right? That's Joe Biden's. That really is his calling here. Why we have to value Uncle Joe. We need the avuncular now, and we need to drop all the political BS and just come together as Americans. Donald Trump is going to divide us, but we can come together with some choice words from Biden tonight in prime time. Let's see him do it, because already I'm starting to see the Republicans kind of come to their senses. Mar-a-Lago, the whole Trump reaction to Mar-a-Lago and the raid, knowing that Trump has no real legal leg to stand on. He has a bunch of lawyers who are not exactly being 100% truthful on his behalf, to the degree that now we have people saying, oh, Trump's lawyers better have lawyers, because it's clear laws were broken. The Espionage Act was broken, was violated, that there was obstruction, there was the whole thing about the documents being destroyed. I mean, there were some serious things here that people have gone to jail for lesser violations of the laws involved in that Mar-a-Lago search. So I just don't think the president gets a pass, or the former president gets a pass. He's a civilian now, and there's no such thing as a pack rat defense. He can't say, well, these are mine. This is my history. No. It's a guy who doesn't know how to be president. It's a guy who doesn't know how to be part of America. He thinks he's above it all. So I'm looking forward to Joe Biden speaking tonight to try to bring us together. He may not do it all in one speech, but I'm hoping that it's the beginning of a message that starts to sink in. All right, handy dandy cough button. I do mention this one thing. I say this is an Asian American show. I mean, I'm Asian American. I talk about Asian American things in general, but sometimes things just pertain to all of us, right? And if you happen to be Asian American, you're in this country, I have an Asian American perspective. So this was in the Wall Street Journal today, and it's worth mentioning because it tells you something about Donald Trump and who he'll go against, who he'll attack. It was a lead editorial in the Wall Street Journal, and it talks about Trump's smears against the former Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, how it's getting ugly out there, and how Donald Trump, of course, doesn't like Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is married to Elaine Chao, the former Transportation Secretary, the first person to resign when January 6th happened. Elaine Chao, to her credit, first to leave and say, that's it, I'm out of here. But now, Trump hates McConnell, and McConnell is ignoring the attacks. But on August 20th, there was a post on Truth Social from Trump that dragged Elaine Chao into the mix, when Trump said Mr. McConnell should, quote, spend more time and money helping Republicans get elected and less time helping his crazy wife and family get rich on China. That was racist. I'll say it. Would he have said it if Mitch McConnell were married to a white person? But Elaine Chao is Chinese, and her family are Chinese American entrepreneurs, business people, international business people. Trump is attacking them. On the 24th, the Wall Street Journal points out that Trump had a statement. The Democrats have Mitch McConnell and his lovely wife, Elaine Coco Chao, over a barrel. He and she will never be prosecuted, as per the last paragraphs of this story. And then he linked to the Federalist that was not factual and tried to, as the Wall Street Journal points out, apply guilt by innuendo. So what do I mean? As the journal points out, Ms. Chao came to the U.S. as a child from Taiwan, not China. And it's significant. And a lot of people don't understand the significance, but this happens again and again when people look at someone and they're Asian, they see Chinese, as Chinese person, they think Red China. When communist China, foreign power, they're an enemy. Well, Ms. Chao, her family came from Taiwan, and there is a difference. She's one of 6 daughters of James S.C. Chao, who founded the Foremost Group, which is a U.S. shipping company based in New York. This is an immigrant success story, and Chao's sister Angela is now the CEO. And this is not a matter of people trying to get rich on China. This is a U.S. shipping company. So, but this is the kind of attack. Trump sees an Asian face, sees a Chinese name, casts these aspersions, goes off something he reads in the Federalist, which goes on this idea that, oh, well, all seen one Chinese, seen them all. No. Taiwan. I mean, they did the same thing with Wenho Lee, the Chinese American who was the nuclear scientist, who was alleged to have been a spy. They used this thing. Well, he's in cahoots with China. He's from China. No, he's from Taiwan. He was from Taiwan. So this is part of the kind of vendetta politics. That's what the Wall Street Journal calls it. And it even goes into this idea that, look, it's not just Republicans who do this. Democrats were trying to dig up dirt on Ms. Chao and her family, but they came up with nothing. And then they dropped it. They closed the probe after it found no prosecutorial interest by the Biden Justice Department, which tells you something, tells you that everyone is looking at Asians with that look like, are you American? I mean, it's offensive. But this is the reality that happens in American politics when it's run by dividers, not by uniters, people looking for divisive things to point fingers and say, oh, you're pro-China, you are anti-American, That's where this leads. This is the last graph of the Wall Street Journal opinion, their lead opinion today. Beyond the unfairness to Ms. Chow, all of this relates to Mr. Trump's role in the GOP. Of course it does, right? And the GOP is going to have to make a decision. Instead of focusing on President Biden, Mr. Trump cares above all about settling scores with members of his own party. His politics is always about himself, not a larger cause. His vendettas have already hurt Republican prospects in 2022 by blackballing good candidates and letting Democrats divert attention from Mr. Biden's failures. No wonder Democrats are thrilled to have Mr. Trump around. This is like the beginning of the end for Donald Trump, when the Wall Street Journal was always kind of anti-Trump, moving toward that anti-Trump direction. But now you're seeing it from all corners of the right. Conservatives are saying, wow, how much of this can we withstand? We already have the Republicans sort of paying for their boneheaded move by the conservative justices by overturning Roe, and we have women reacting, women from of all stripes throughout the nation reacting to the overturning of Roe by the affirmation of Dobbs, right? Essentially, the overturning of Roe. And we have abortion coming up as the number one issue of the midterms, and it's sinking Republicans. So now Republicans they're sniffing the smelling salts. They're saying, oh my God, Donald Trump is the albatross weighing us down. We've got to free ourselves. So I'm all for liberating the Republicans. Republicans, liberate yourself. Cut the ties. I'm rarely in agreement with the Wall Street Journal, but because look, I've met Elaine Chao. I know we've talked. I think if we were to meet on the street today, we would be cordial. She'd say, "Hi, Emil. We have known each other for like over 20 years, maybe longer." Elaine Chao. And it's just when I see something unfair, like what Donald Trump is doing to her and Mitch McConnell, I'm willing to say it. And I'm glad that the Wall Street Journal has had the guts to like point it out and say, this is anti-Asian on the part of Republicans. And, you know, Republicans have a history of being anti-Asian. I mean, calling the virus, the COVID virus, calling it the Wuhan flu, Chinese flu, having it spark anti-Asian violence throughout the country. The spark was Republican. The spark was from Trump. This is more of that same nasty, divisive venom. That's not the soul of America. And that's why we got to look forward to whatever Donald Trump, whatever Joe Biden says tonight. That's the soul of America. What Donald Trump said today, he's going to like pardon all the insurrectionists. That's not the soul of America. I think when you think about these things, I think the Republicans are going to realize that America is much bigger than Donald Trump. America is much bigger than that ugly base that came out from under its rock the 4 years of a Trump administration. The neo-Nazis, the anti-BIPOC forces. That's not America. America has grown, has evolved. America is so much different than the way the MAGA folks envision. Now they're nostalgic about they want to go back to the 1930s. We are beyond the 1930s. It's 2022. And the sooner everyone, Republican and Democrats, understand that, we can forget about 2020. We can forget about the lie about how the Republicans lost an election. Forget about that's a lie. We can not forget the insurrection, but always remember that and move forward. There are better, brighter days ahead for America. We've got to figure out the soul of America. Let's look forward to Joe Biden making that case tonight. So, a couple other things. We talked about the Trump and Elaine Chao thing and the soul of America. It comes up over and over because we have to understand that we have a new America. It's a different America, and we just have to understand and embrace it. And it's about diversity. And if you have a problem with diversity, you're not quite up to speed. Diversity just means, hey, let's look at the American population and let's deal with it. This is America now, 2022. But some other data points came up. America now is a lot dumber than it should be, could be. This again, news story. Fourth grade test scores plummet. The Department of Education's first look at test score trends since the pandemic began, reveals the worst drop in math and reading scores in decades for students in fourth grade, a crucial indicator for educational and economic trajectory. I have to say, fourth grade really was a special time for me. I loved it. 8, 9 years old. That was like I was coming into my own. I didn't know what racism was. I mean, I just thought I was this innocent free bird and loved school. So it's disheartening to see that the test scores have plummeted and have plummeted so bad, the worst, right? The worst drop in math and reading scores in decades for students in the fourth grade. Average scores in reading for 2022 declined to 215 out of a possible 500. Wow. In reading, 215 out of 500, falling 5 points from 2020. Okay, it was always bad. Just falling 5 points, you're still at less than half. Math scores fell 7 points to 234 out of 500. The results marked the largest drop in reading scores since 1990 and the first decline in math scores since the test began in 1971. Math and reading scores for the exam are now at their lowest levels since the 1990s. And then, of course, you got to look at how racially this is impacted. The drops in test scores were roughly 4 times greater among the students who were the least proficient in both math and reading. Okay, so if you weren't proficient, it dropped even more. Gaps in performance in math between black and white students also grew. Scores among Asian students were the only bright spot. They improved by 1 point in reading. Because maybe, I don't want to say anything cast aspersions. Maybe they're reading the wrong direction. I don't know. So Asians are the bright spot. Everyone else is a low point. Fourth grade is a problem. What are we going to do? What are we going to do about this? I think more than just the pandemic, think of the coincidences of having someone like Betsy DeVos as the education secretary. That could not have been good timing. I think having someone like Donald Trump as the president, that can't, 4 years of Donald Trump can't be good. I think we got to look at this and say, Joe Biden with the student loan forgiveness, that's just the beginning of an overhaul at the Department of Education. I think we got to look at K through 12. I think we got to start thinking about K through 16 because look, we're bringing higher education down. If we can't get our fourth grade test scores, we're not going to have people ready for high school and we're not going to have people ready for college. They're saying something like the plummeting of these fourth grade scores, it's a big deal because you don't just catch up just like that. This is a problem. And the real problem is the people this is public schools, right? If you can afford private schools, I guess you bypass this and say, "Oh, thank God." But that should not be the take in America. The take in America is public schools strong. This is what makes America exceptional. Public schools, public education. That's what these tests are about. And the fourth grade drop is dismaying because you want to talk about the failure of our democracy. The democracy depends on education for all, public education. And, part of what Joe Biden is going to address tonight is this idea that we need, democracy is threatened. And so if democracy is threatened, we need to buttress up our democracy by making sure voting systems are right, making sure people vote, making sure that, the Voting Rights Act is restored. But we also need to look at public education because an educated America is needed for democracy to have a chance. If you don't have an educated America, you have a population that can be easily taken for a ride. Point to the Trump years. What happened there? An educated electorate should have known better. Educate the electorate. Improve public schooling. These fourth grade exam tests or results. It's the wake-up call. I talked about this briefly yesterday. Life expectancy dropped in 2021. This is from the CDC to 76.1 years. Life expectancy, mostly because of COVID. This upsets me because I don't have much time. If I'm going to die in COVID, right? They say COVID, half the lowering of that lifespan came from COVID deaths. Then there was suicides and drugs and that kind of thing. All right, so I don't take drugs. My suicidal ideation. Well, I mean, I'm showing it here. So I guess I have a healthy suicidal ideation. I don't really want to kill myself. I just want to put it out there and you can say, oh, why is Emil doing that? That sounds like career suicide. The career's over. Career. As Serena Williams said last night, I got nothing to lose. Of course, she's a champion. 76.1 years, though. That is the average life. Can't get over it. Usually we're into the 80s, and now we're into the 70s. Does this recover? Maybe. We don't even know where long COVID goes. The people who had COVID recovered but still are suffering. I look at this number too. But what a great time to go vegan. What a great time to do the things that will prevent you from getting sick and dying, from getting a preventable illness like diabetes or heart disease. Stop smoking, stop drinking, stop eating meat. I mean that's it. I mean, all right, just a couple more things because it's Thursday and uh, I want to relax before I take on Biden's speech. He's going to speak in a couple hours. Um, I want to talk about this one bit about last night. I saw the tennis. What a great tennis match! I just started looking at the points that Serena Williams was winning. I mean, I don't usually watch the U.S. Open. I know that's not true. I do. I guess of all the tennis tournaments, I guess I'll watch Wimbledon because it's on grass. I'll watch the French because it's on clay. I watch the U.S. Open because it's in the United States. And summer is winding down. It's like a a milestone. Oh, summer's ending. Let's watch the U.S. Open. I'm far from New York, but I'll watch the tennis. Man, Serena Williams. I watched her the other night. She was great. Everyone was looking for her to lose, so they were saying goodbye. She won't say goodbye. She keeps going. She's in this second round match against Arnett Kontaveit, Estonian, number 2 in the world. And she was not looking to win. And what does she do? She kicks Kontaveit's butt. And she wins the first set. She loses the second set. Serena Williams comes back in the third, and it was like at 3-2, and she was at 15-15, and she was serving. There was one point, there was like 19 volleys, and it was just incredible. 19 volleys, back and forth and back and forth. And this is the kind of tennis that, usually a point is there's a serve, there's a return, and then there's one, and then another hit cross court or, down the line, and, the opponent can't get it. So, usually 3 strokes, 3 volleys, point over, 3 or 4. This was like 19. It was a great point. And I watched that point. It was at 15-15. Serena Williams serving. And the ball was going all over the place. And there was a lob, and then there was, I think McEnroe said, she reset the point. Yeah, because usually after 4 volleys, it's done. But there she was. She, on the 19th stroke, she hits it out of Kontaveit's reach to make it 30-15, and she goes on from there to win the third set. And it got to the point where Kontaveit was just demoralized and thought maybe she'd hold service and then let Serena serve out to win the set. But Kontaveit couldn't even do that. Kontaveit just, you could see the wind just leave. Come come out of her sails. She was done. And what a victory for Serena. And this is what I'll say about Serena. I said the other day, I was really always a Venus fan. She was older. I think they're playing doubles today. But I was always a Venus fan. And then Serena was a young upstart. But over time, I mean, Serena is 41 years old. Over time, you say, oh my God, she is so much better. She's got the greatest serve. She is maybe the greatest female athlete. I mean, there's a lot in different sports, but in tennis, she's special, and she doesn't belong, right? I mean, that's the thing about Serena. Who doesn't belong in this picture? An African American woman from Compton who comes up and is so good. She has to go through extraordinary feats to get around the racism in such a lily white sport as tennis. And that's what King Richard was about, right? And to see her go out with such joy and passion, and at 41, she's got kids, she's married, she's got other interests now, but she still loves tennis. She's playing it with such joy. She can't be denied. I think she has a chance if her body can withstand the just the grueling pace. I mean, she rests, right? But I mean, that match lasted about 2.5 hours last night. I mean, it's the heat, it's the pressure, but she says in the interview after the match, she said, I got nothing to lose. She loves the game. She's still pretty good. And she's only played 6 matches this year. So people are surprised. Oh, how can she be so good? She hasn't played that much. But what an example of just that kind of grit necessary to achieve and to be a winner. I mean, I kept thinking about how Serena is a life lesson for all, and Chrissy Everett, who was talking about the match yesterday, she was bragging to her compadres in the broadcast booth that she was older than both of them. Chris Fowler, John McEnroe. She's 67. I guess they're a little younger. Maybe early 60s, late 50s. McEnroe must be about 60-something, early 60s. But Chrissy Everett, 67, she was proud. She said she was inspired by Serena. I was inspired by Serena. I was inspired by her. And Chrissy Everett talked about the formula. She says, you reach for the stars, you fall down, you get up and do it again. Reach for the stars, you fail, fall down, you get up. It's a 3-step process. Notice I didn't say you win. You reach for the stars, you do your best, you fail, but guess what? Sometimes in failure, you're good enough to win. But it's not about the winning. It's about the trying and doing. You reach for the stars, you fail, you get back up. Repeat. You reach for the stars, you fail, you get back up. And as I said, sometimes in failure, it's good enough to win. But you don't worry about the wins. You just keep on trying. You keep on reaching for the stars. And if you do that and you fail, an honest fail. I'm reaching. You fail. Okay. Get up, do it again. I'm reaching. That's the key to success. It's the way to fail to success. And that third set, I mean, I missed the first set, which was a tiebreaker. That's always, interesting to watch in tennis. I missed the second set where she lost. It was 7-6, 6-2, 6-2, right? Or 7-6, 2-6, 6-2 for Serena Williams. So I missed the second set, which she lost handily to Kontaveit. But man, that third set, 6-2, Kontaveit just gave up. Serena didn't have to serve out. I just thought it was a great example, a great life lesson. If you want a life lesson from tennis, and a life lesson for tennis for me is let's just hit the ball. Let's not keep score. No, keep it. It's important to keep score because it tells you where you are. But I like just the hitting and the form, and I was not into the competitiveness of the game because I was not that good in tennis, like some other friends of mine. But I can hit, get some good points. But the basic idea to take away from Serena last night: reach for the stars, fail, get up, try again. Reach for the stars, fail, get up, try again. And like I said, it's not about, am I winning? Am I losing? It's just the trying. As long as you're in the game, you're trying. That's all. It's not about, am I making money? Reach for the stars. Just reach for the stars. I mean, that's the lesson I got from Serena. It's that and Chrissy Everett at 67 saying, hey, I'm inspired. She's not done yet. We're not done yet. Wherever you are in the chronological line, we are not done yet. All right, that's it for the show. That's all I wanted to say today. Hey, it's not just all about me, not my journey necessarily. I mean, hopefully this show helps you understand some things in the news, and maybe it gives you a sense of how to understand some things that people are tossing out there, like, how do I view this Mar-a-Lago thing? Maybe Donald Trump is right. No, Donald Trump is not right. Maybe he has a point with this special master. No, he doesn't have a point with the special master. We don't need a special master. He's just like, after a while, he's just throwing things out there, trying to hope that people remember that he was president. He's not president anymore. I just think he's just, if he got out of the way, let's look to see what crimes were committed. If a crime was committed, I think there was, or were, more than one. And I think they probably will find a way to indict the former president, maybe not before the midterms, but I think it looks like an indictment is coming. Look, you're the twice impeached, twice disgraced former president of the United States. The chances of committing a crime, probable cause. There was probable cause. I think there will be indictments. The only question is, will it come before the midterms or will it come after? And I think now is the time for good Republicans to begin abandoning F. POTUS, because F. POTUS does not deserve to be a recidivist POTUS. An R.F. P-O-T-U-O-U-S. P-O-T-U-S. POTUS. F. POTUS. A recidivist. That means he wants to do it again. So, talk show sound effect. Regular listeners to the show know that we do a little meditation. Yeah, sometimes a little meditation is good. Meditation that says, oh, yeah, got to beat the shame. Got to beat the shame by being kind to yourself. It's kindness, but it's also self-love. Because shame, you can go down a spiral if you don't love yourself. Loving yourself is just like putting on like a little, what do they call them? Like putting a thing around your waist, one of those swimming hole donuts. You put it around your waist so you float. That's loving yourself. Self-love, kindness, keeps you from sinking, helps you to float above and beyond. Self-kindness, self-love. Beats shame. It does. So, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you live with ease. Catch the replay, show 380 on amok.com. Also on Twitter at Emil Amok. YouTube, my pathetic YouTube channel. Catch us there. Subscribe, like us, do whatever they say on the algorithm. Be kind to your algorithms. And then Facebook, fb.com, facebook.com, emilguillermo.media. Check me out there. Back again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific. Live. We're live. Till next time. Mahal Kita.